Hello, fellow adventurers and hooday. It's David here. Today I'm 3 months away from pushing off from the West Coast toward the Atlantic Ocean. How am I preparing my body to handle this? Well, I've heard from many sources that the only way to prepare your body for the second week of a bicycle tour is by finishing the first week of a bicycle tour. Sometimes I question if my efforts today are really going to pay off. I don't know the answer to that, but at least my body is staying fit, and I'm enjoying a reason to be outdoors in the lovely Tucson winter. I haven't developed a full training regimen like I've seen others do, like Monday is a training ride, Tuesday is weightlifting, Wednesday is running, etc. I am logging all of the training that I've been doing in a spreadsheet with the date, the activity, the distance, and in the case of bicycle rides, also the elevation gain. I've always been a 1 to 3 times per week runner. Since spending more time on the bicycle, the run frequency has gone down, but it's still a part of my training. It's interesting to note how a 1-hour run makes me more sore than a 4-hour bike ride. With cycling being a much lower impact activity, I understand why that's the case. I also like how much more quickly I can get out on a run. It's a quick change of clothes, running shoes, and I'm off. Getting ready for a bike ride involves much more, like filling water bottles, preparing the GPS and route, ensuring my on-bike electronics are charged and installed, and more clothing requirements. Also, after returning home from a bike ride, that takes longer than after returning home from a run. I did run a marathon in October, but my single run mileage hasn't been above 8 miles since then. I always enjoy exploring my neighborhood on a run and hope that this is strengthening parts of my body necessary for a bicycle tour. I played tennis in high school, and despite not improving on my game since then, I really enjoy the sport. A friend and I play each other 2 to 3 times per month. We're very evenly matched, and most of our sets are 6-4, 7-5, or they go to a tiebreaker. I have no idea what tennis brings to my bicycle tour training. Hopefully it's of some benefit, but regardless, it's a lot of fun charging the net for a volley or chasing a lob over my head. I have a couple of trips where I'll be doing a lot of urban walking, and I put the daily mileage into my log, so that can also be considered part of my training. I haven't hiked much recently, but a few hikes also made their way onto my training log. And finally, biking. I've mentioned in a prior video that I don't consider myself a cyclist. I might not even when I complete this trip. It's not an exaggeration when I say that I have biked significantly more miles in the past 3 months than I have in the prior 20 years combined. It's been a really fun activity for me for the following reasons. First, I can cover far more distance than I can on a run, and I get to enjoy more scenery. Second, I don't get tired as quickly, and I can exercise longer. Third, I enjoy taking a break for a meal at the halfway point. That's something I've never done on a run before. Fourth, I'm exploring parts of Tucson that I wouldn't have seen otherwise. And finally, it's a blast rocking out with that Bluetooth speaker that's connected to my handlebar. And when nobody's around, I'll be singing along with the music. I'm a bit too out of breath on a run to sing much more than a line or two. And I'm getting more comfortable with the bike. Recumbents have a reputation for being difficult to start when stopped in a high gear or when you're stopped at an incline. I'm getting better at that. I'm comfortable now taking my left or my right hand off the handlebars to finagle a water bottle out of the cages and take a drink while continuing to pedal and shift. I'm learning what speeds I'm capable of at different incline grades and what average speeds to expect on a 40 to 60 mile ride. With a large gap between daytime highs and nighttime lows here, I'm also learning how to stay comfortable with clothing layers in different weather conditions. I didn't realize until I started this how spoiled I am as a cyclist in training to live in Tucson. It's not the Netherlands by any means, but as far as American cities go, we have a great bicycle infrastructure. Many of the roads in town have dedicated bike lanes, if not the shoulders are wide. And we have the Tucson Loop, which sounds like it's a single loop, but it's in fact a series of 130 miles of car-free walking, running, and biking paved walkways that traverse Tucson, Marana, and Oro Valley. Most of it follows riverbeds, so the scenery is nice despite water not flowing for the majority of the year. It was named USA Today's #1 bike path in America. Thankfully, the bulk of my training is in the winter, because the summer heat would make long midday rides dangerous and uncomfortable. As I approach my departure date in May, I'll probably need to start my long rides earlier in the morning. I loaded my bike with probably 80% of what will be on it for my Transamerican ride and did one test run, including a stretch on a 10% incline to see how well the bike and I fared.
Hey everybody, I'm out for a training ride. This is a unique training ride, because it's overcast in Tucson, which is great to be riding in. But because it's the first time I'm doing a training ride with my bike fully loaded, I got the panniers on, I got the tent mounted in the front, and I'm talking to you here because it's the steepest part. I'm approaching a 10% grade here on McGee Road in Oro Valley, north of Tucson. It's this stretch upcoming by the school that gets me at 10. I'm at 6.5 right now, according to the bike computer. I've done this ride a dozen times or so, and this is the first time I'm doing it fully loaded. So to give me a taste for what some of the hills I'll need to climb would be like on a fully loaded touring bike. And I'm almost to the hill. We'll see how quickly the smile gets wiped off my face riding up here. But so far I'm having fun. 8% grade, 9.5% grade, 9.6, 9.8. You can see me swerving a bit. I'm going 5.6 miles per hour right now in first gear, cranking. Yeah, I can tell this is more difficult than with an empty, unloaded bike, but I'm succeeding. I still have a smile on my face. We'll see if that's the case in the Adirondacks when I got a pack of dogs chasing me. All right, I'm feeling pretty good after that stretch of up to 10 degrees grade on the fully loaded bike. I think, it was more difficult than an empty bike, but not as difficult as I thought it was going to be, adding, 50 pounds of weight with the panniers loaded in the tent.
That's about all I can say for my training. I anticipate maintaining this level of rigor for the next 3 months until I set off. I recently read the report of another Transamerican cyclist. He was younger than me, but didn't do any training before the trip. On his first few days, he could only manage 30 miles per day. But he was completing multiple 80-mile days in a row by the Great Plains. So that gives me some confidence that I should be okay with the level I'm at. See you next time.